Panic Gaming.
Awesome!
Hello everybody, Jim here. Welcome back to Mad Panic Gaming and welcome back to another game hunting video. Today we're going to wrap up this little Tachikawa trilogy of videos. As I said in the previous two videos, I go to Tachikawa maybe once a year, really to deal with like immigration stuff, but then while I'm there, I'll hit the three big game hunting spots. So we already did Book Off. We took a look at Surugaya. Those were great. We got some great games at both. So today we wrap things up with the Hard Off there in Tachikawa. It was about, I would say like a 20-minute walk from the station, about a kilometer and a half, maybe like a little more, maybe closer to 2 kilometers. On a day when it was about, I don't know, like 95 Fahrenheit outside. So I definitely got my steps in, I got some exercise, drank a hell of a lot of water and Pocari Sweat today. But I had a good time doing some game hunting, picked up some really cool games as a matter of fact. This particular Hard Off, not the best stock that I've ever been to, but they did have some cool stuff in there, like some precision strikes with the game pickups today. So you're going to see all of that in the video though, consoles, games, whatever else there was. Then come back at the end of the video, as usual, we're going to take a look at what my best finds of the day were. And before we continue, we're trying to hit 40K subs by the end of the year. I think that's a pretty reachable goal. So if you're watching for the first time, you're enjoying the video, give us a sub. And if you really, really like the video, like more than you like your own mutter, I don't know where I was going with that, give us a like. I'd certainly appreciate it, but I'm rambling at this point, making bad jokes. So let's get right to it. Let's go game hunting.
Just I'm true. Just do it. Just I'm true. Just do it.
All right. Gray skies are gonna clear up. It's a sunny day. All right. Yeah. Got very sunny. Not a cloud in the sky. Very warm on this particular day. Filmed this in September. I know it's being published in October, but filmed this in like mid-September. I think the temperature got up to like 36 degrees this day. Anyway, enough of that. We're here way far, a good far walk from the station to the Hard of Off. The place where the off is very hard. Doesn't get much harder than your Hard Off house combination piece. Always nice to see those. That way when I'm done looking for games, if I really want to, I can go look, I don't know, for something for the decor at the old palatial estate here in Tokyo. Getting started with consoles. Which, you know, they didn't have a lot. But they had some cool stuff. Old school PS3, which is fun to say now. With its 250 gigs. Wow. We got GameCube 6600. That's pretty cool. We got a bunch of loose PS3s and things. These are pretty cool. 22,000 yen for the Super Famicom. Didn't we call like the Junior back in the day? And some clone consoles and what have you. I can remember a friend of mine in like 1997 asking for a PlayStation for his birthday. And I think his parents mistakenly gave him like a Super Nintendo, like one of those Model 2 Super Nintendos. Or was it in like 98? It was like well after the SNES was not much of a thing anymore. Dreamcast, 11,000 with a 3-month warranty. You can't go wrong with that, which that's worth noting. A lot of these consoles have warranties on them. Even some of the games I bought today came with 10-day warranties. So that's pretty cool. Not a lot of places are going to give you a warranty on used goods that are like, I don't know, between 30 and 40 years old on some of this stuff. That's pretty cool. We got some Wii's. I don't know why they cost that much. 3,300 on this one. Okay, I didn't really check the tag to see if it was missing anything. 77 on these Super Famicoms, which for boxed Super Famicoms in good shape and everything, I guess that's about right. It's like 50 bucks. 88 for that one. So yeah, and then a bunch of Wii U's and some Xbox 360s. Which, fair enough. I haven't played on an Xbox 360 in a very long time. But I did enjoy mine back in the day. And we've got some other cool stuff here, some peripherals and various things. Some for the Nintendo. And this, pretty cool, Super Famicom ASCII fight stick. So that's cool, I guess. Like 2,500 yen. It's interesting that it's still boxed. That's nice. We got one of the twin sticks. I guess you're going to play some Virtual On with your Dreamcast. You're going to want that. But they want 6,600 for it. So, nah, I'm good. We got some Guitar Hero stuff, which is interesting because I see Guitar Freaks all the time at the arcade. But I don't see a ton of Guitar Hero games and stuff when I'm out and about. This Soul Edge fight stick for the PS1, and that's marked as 6,600 as well. For no good reason, because who the hell really needs a Soul Edge fight stick for their PS1 these days? But we got some other fight sticks here, which, whatever the hell this one is. Fighting stick, multi, whatever. Some of these look pretty damn sturdy. I myself, I'm not in the, as they say, the FGC. So I don't have much need for really kick-ass fight sticks. And then this thing, this TV Mahjong game, Mahjong controller, which comes in handy when you're playing them Mahjong games. And even the Mahjong arcade games have a similar control setup. I myself have no idea how to play Mahjong, but I've seen other people play it, and I've seen them play with those controllers, and I guess they're having a good time. 38.5 for a Game Boy player. And, well, that's the end of the video, folks. Goodbye. Thanks for watching. 38,500 yen, 300 bucks for a damn Game Boy player. Okay, whatevs. Anyway, that's some consoles and things. We'll take a quick break and look at some games.
Japan! 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 Round one! Fight!
Alright, enough of that nonsense. Let's take a look at some games. As you can see, this was their primary games aisle. Had quite a lot in it. But first, of course, because why not? Let's take a look in the case, and they had some good stuff in there. Got some Salamander already, some Contra for 5,500 for a box Contra, although the box had some wear and tear on there, as you can see. But we got some Goemon, some Hokuto no Ken, which sucks on the Super Famicom. Sailor Moon back there, Darius Twin for 49.50 after tax. Looks good, hint, hint. We got some stuff here, surprisingly. Some boxed GBA stuff, which actually really needed to find, which was shocking because I usually do not get to find boxed GBA for whatever reason. We got some Ninja Turtles, which is cool. Wizardry for whatever reason. GS Mikami is 11,000. That's a game that's not getting any cheaper. We got some Akumajo Densetsu, Twin B3 back there. Maui Mallard on the Super Famicom. Actually, one of my personal favorites. And it's just over 18,000 yen, like 120 bucks. But that's cool. Astal, Kunio-kun, plenty of Game Boy games, even some Pokemons. Yellow and blue. I myself never got into Pokemon when I was a kid. By the time Pokemon was the it thing, I couldn't have cared less. Metroid, cool. Me and my friends, we were, how old were we at the time? 12? We were more into like Dragon Ball Z at that time, so Pokemon wasn't impressing us. We had our DBZ cards and things. Getting started with some games proper here, with some Game Boy games, which they didn't have a lot. As you can see here, they have some cool stuff. Yoshi, Mario Land, or the, I think, better Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins, which kept me company on a long road trip one year. Again, I think when I was 12, like we drove to Florida to go see like my aunt who I'd never met before, and then my parents wanted to go to Disney, which I did not want to, but whatever, 1,200, 1,320, I think, after tax, or however much. For Fire Pro Wrestling 6-man scramble. Fire Pro is a favorite for a lot of people, and 6-man scramble is fun. It's more or less your traditional Fire Pro game, except it's got some cool extra modes, including basically like a Royal Rumble-ish type thing. And you can have, well, as it says, 6-man scramble. 6-player wrestling. Which doesn't get much more fun than that, does it? We got this limited selection of Saturn games. Again, some of the places I go, you can tell that they've been visited by other people looking for some games. We got Saturn Bomberman, kind of like a greatest hits version. And yeah, usually like stuff like Saturn, Dreamcast, PC Engine, the things that I think are more highly collectible. That's the stuff you'll notice that they don't got a lot of. So that's what happens, man. And of course, it is my fault. I did this to us. We got some 3DO games, including Super Wing Commander. Funny, the game hunting types always pass over the 3DO games. Why no love for the 3DO, you know? Put the Saturn, the PC Engine, the Dreamcast, you know, give that stuff a rest. Discover the magic, the majesty, the ecstasy that is the 3DO. What else do we got here? As far as PC Engine games, not really. There's like a system card, like one game, one of the sampler soft things, and then like Mahjong. And Splatoon, alright. And one Sega Pico game. Thanks, guys. You left a Pico game behind. That was nice of you. Then we got lots and lots of loose Famicom carts here, which I didn't go through like everything. As usual, I try to keep these videos to a reasonable length. And when there's like hundreds up to thousands of loose carts. But we got Downtown Special. We got Gradius, still 1,000 yen. And in fantastic shape, this cart. Surprisingly good shape, as a matter of fact. What else we got? We got Mario 3, we got Yoshi's Cookie, we got Dragon Ball Z, we have Salamander. Which quite possibly, I mean, I know people like their gun knack and stuff, but I'm a Salamander guy when it comes to NES and Famicom shooters. DBZ 3, Yoshi's Cookie, other various things. And what else we got? This I thought was pretty cool. For 2,200 yen, a copy of Adventure Island. Although, good luck knowing that. I mean, you got to read the label. You can't actually see the cover on the box. Actually, if I had another free hand, I could probably just lift up that thing. But anyway, some Adventure Island for you. Damn fine game. And 2,200 for complete copy. I think that's not so bad. And again, if you spot it there on the price tag, a 10-day warranty. They're going to give you a 10-day warranty on a Famicom game. You take that all day. This... just something that grabbed my attention real quick. Strategy guide for the original Tenchu Stealth Assassins. Somebody kind of crammed it in there. I was like a ridiculous fan of the Tenchu series back in the day. Had every game, played the hell out of them, got Grandmaster on every stage, unlocked everything. I was a Tenchu fiend. And then lots of loose Super Famicom cards. When I say lots, I mean lots. 700 there, 500 on Super Puyo Puyo, 500 on Yoshi's Island. So I did dig through quite a few of these, and yeah, they seem to be like right in that sweet spot. Most of them anyway, of being between 1,000 and 500 yen at the low end. So I would say like on the low end, like $3 for a game. At the high end, maybe $8 to $10, which ain't bad on these loose carts. We got some Super Famicoms, and we got your good old-fashioned Super Mario Kart. I gave a stern warning in the last video about those Mario Karts. If you're going to be playing with your big sister, try not to antagonize her too much, especially if there's something within arm's reach that she can swing at you. Kirby Superstar, had a couple of copies of that. 1,000 yen. Some Super Butoden 3 for 300 yen. Just nice. And they're also marked with tax, so this goes up to 330 with Japan's 10% sales tax, so keep that in mind. Also, when I take people around, actually, hey, complete copy of Super Butoden 3, now that I mention it. Cool cover, by the way. Yeah, sometimes I do take people around on, like, game hunting tours, and certain places, like I think maybe some Surugayas, some of the places in Akihabara, they'll do tax-free if you're a traveler and you've got your passport with you. Not hard off, as far as I know. 1,200 for Sailor Moon Kondo no Puzzle something. One of the Sailor Moon puzzle games. Actually find that quite a lot these days. And this game, very interesting. And only 1,000 yen, so very affordable. Super Nazo Puyo, which is a Puyo Puyo game with a bit of like an adventure thing going on. And it has little challenges for you. So instead of just playing like classic, like one-on-one versus Puyo Puyo, it'll give you little objectives to complete. And it's fun. It's if you like Puyo Puyo, it's a different spin on it. And again, 1,000 yen for a complete copy. So that's fine. $7, that's no problem. And then 500 yen on Super Puyo Puyo. So box complete and in great shape, and it'll run you about $3. So yeah, I'm saying if you want to get into collecting some of these games, get some of those games, maybe if you want to save a few dollars. Games that are off the beaten path, you know. Don't go for the obvious collector's pieces. And Dragon Ball Z Super Butoden 2, which I think most people, when it comes to Super Butoden games, they would say that this is their favorite. It's pretty good. It's the one with Broly. That's just what I remember from when I was a kid. That this was the one I really wanted to play, because you could unlock Broly. And at the time, I don't think I'd ever even seen the Broly movie. I'd only seen pictures of the character, and I was like, so I was like, I want to play as that guy. Is there a game where you can play as that guy? And then we checked the handy dandy internet in like 1997 or 8 or whenever the hell it was, and we're like, oh yeah, there is one. Anyway, more Super Famicom games, including Goemon, some Bomberman, plenty of good stuff. Anyone else have a similar experience? Growing up in the US, it was like a dearth of Chrono Trigger. Oh, perfect condition too. A dearth of DBZ stuff. Like, I got on that DBZ train like early. When it first started airing, like 1996 or something, I was already like, yes, this is awesome. I wish there was a game based on this. Alas, there were none. At least not for a long time. Hey, cool. Special golden edition of this game here. Either that or someone was fond of cigars or something. I don't know. Rockman X, 1200. Little grody on the back. But can't argue with Rockman X. And then 1,000 yen for Aladdin on the Super Famicom. And it's super clean. Really nice clean carts. I like both of the Aladdin games. Genesis and Super Nintendo. They have their charms, both of them. Super Nintendo game, more of a kind of just straightforward platformy type game. Some Parodius Da, 3,000 yen. Which I like the Parodius games. I definitely do. Don't like them as much as I like Gradius, though. I just appreciate the visuals and tone and music of Gradius a bit more, I think. We got more boxed Super Famicom stuff here, including a bit of Super Bomberman, which is always inexpensive, and there's always like a ton of them laying around. We got Panic Bomber, and we got Panel de Pon, which is an awesome game, which I'm pretty sure everybody is aware. Panel de Pon is just the Japanese name for Tetris Attack. And I guess it was reskinned for North America, so it had Yoshi and maybe some other Mario characters. But it's a great game, whether you're playing just the regular single-player mode, or you're playing like versus against the CPU, or a friend, or an enemy. You could play these games with enemies, I'm assuming. Like, I don't think there's a rule that you have to play with friends. We got some other good stuff here, of course, as with any game hunting video I do. Tetris Battle Gaiden. I think I've said this before. It's like my mission now. Like, every place I go to a game hunt, like, there's got to be a Tetris Battle Gaiden. I should start a collection of Tetris Battle Gaiden copies. Forget the whole, like, general collecting retro games thing, and just get all of the, kind of like Red Letter Media did with their copies of Nuki. I should do that with Tetris Battle Gaiden. A little damage there, but otherwise not too shabby. Gambare Goemon 2. And speaking of, hey, Goemon on the N64. And then they had a ton of loose N64 carts as well. Which N64, kind of the same vein as like the Super Famicom carts. There, every once in a while you'd come across one that was like maybe 1,500 yen or 2,000. But the vast majority of these carts were 300 yen on the low end, as you can see there with Bomberman, up to maybe about 1,000 yen. So any of these carts, if you get it loose, it's, I mean, a couple of bucks, $5 at most for a lot of it. And a complete copy of Yoshi's Story for 1,200 yen. Which you can't argue with that. Like, complete N64 games for $10 or less. Kind of hard to argue with that. I bring this up sometimes when I'm doing these videos, but I don't, like, I get the impression from people I know in the US that prices for games in the US is pretty, like, staggering. Like, even when I find something here in one of my videos and I'm like, oh, it's like $20, maybe I'll pass on that. And I get comments and people telling me sometimes, they're like, dude, you pass on that for $20? It's like $70 here. We're looking at some GameCube games, which actually have really good memories with the GameCube. I got one. It was 1 year. Wow, Kirby Air Ride. Pretty expensive game. What the hell's going on? But yeah, I can remember that was a good one. Got a GameCube for Christmas. Didn't really want anything, but I felt like, because I had a job and I was just like buying my own stuff. Rogue Squadron, kick ass. But it was one of those things where I was like, I guess, because I was 16, so I had a job. But I was like, I guess I should ask for something. So I asked for a GameCube. Naruto, 500 yen. Anything Naruto is going to be super cheap. Luigi's Mansion, that's cool. Donkey Konga, which, don't ask me. I don't think I've ever played a Donkey Konga game. But anyway, got my GameCube for Christmas with some Smash Brothers. Enjoyed that. The day after Christmas, a buddy of mine came over. And, hey, Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. Family tour here in Japan. One of my favorite golf games ever. It's awesome. It's like right up there with like Hot Shots Golf. And Aqua Teen Hunger Force, of course. Yeah, we played some Smash Brothers, and they were like, you know, it'd be really cool if we had a copy of Mario Kart. So I had like $30. He had 20-something. We put our money together. We went and bought a copy of Mario Kart and spent the rest of the day playing Mario Kart Double Dash. That was it's actually one of my more fond Christmas memories. It was like the day after Christmas. They got all the Biohazards here, by the way. They got 4. They got 0. Remake. Remake is awesome, though. Possibly, like, between, like, 2 and then, like, Remake. Hard to pick a favorite. Samurai Spirits Collection on the Wii. So 6 Samurai Spirits games. But who the hell... I mean, I don't know. Maybe you could tell me down in the comments. Maybe I'm out of line here. But who the hell wants to play Samurai Spirits on a Wii? Why would you even do that? And then we have the Biohazard Chronicles Pack, which I don't know why you'd want to play a Biohazard game on the Wii either. I had gotten my Wii. I remember my first experience with the Wii. I hated it because I had just played through Twilight Princess on the GameCube and really enjoyed it. And then my cousin came over with his Wii, and I tried it out on the Wii, and I was like, this sucks. Anyway, Racing Lagoon by Squaresoft. Interesting game to look at it and maybe just play like an initial race or something. You might think, this is kind of like Initial D or something. But it's a much more story-driven game. Square game, so, you know, they got to throw some sort of RPG-ish stuff in there. So a lot of people describe it as like the RPG racing game. And that's not far off. It's a decent racer. Like, I'd be happy if that was all it was. Hey, look, there's a handsome guy in the game, too. With some Parasite Eve 2, and then whatever the hell you are, lady, and a do not cross tape. But yeah, it's a pretty sweet game. If you've never tried it before, I'd recommend you do. Maybe there's, get an English version. I don't even know if there was an English version. Street Games 97, I think, is too extreme. Which was just not so good because it's like a racing game, and I don't, by that time I'd already Tony Hawk was all you needed. I don't need to race on the skateboard, and it's like you're racing like skateboards against bikes and inline skaters. That's so stupid. Nobody's gonna beat the guy on the bicycle. Don't even try. The Parodius Deluxe Pack, Tkyo Parodius Deluxe Pack, whatever it is. But it's got a couple of Parodius games in it, and this was kind of like a big find because anything that's a shoot 'em up for starters, and then anything like Konami, even the tiniest bit more obscure is going to be kind of expensive. This one though, they were letting it go for 3,000 yen, which is just over $20. So I was like setting that aside as a maybe. We got some other intelligent cubes, stuff like that. Clock Tower 2, Chrono Cross, which Clock Tower 2, again, kind of like common knowledge now, was released as just regular Clock Tower in the US. And it's pretty cool. Actually, an early horror game that I played. I remember playing that with my friend. It was a rental, playing stuff like that and like D and the first Resident Evil. I was like 10 years old, 11 years old at the time. So a little bit of nightmare fuel. Space Griffin VF9 looks like Macross. Don't ask me because I don't know. And then we got some other cool stuff here, including another copy of Brody's Deluxe Pack. This one is 1,000 yen less. It's kind of like the greatest hits version, but for 2,000 yen. And I'm like looking at that. I'm looking at this copy here, and I'm like, which one shall it be? I guess you're gonna have to stick around to the end of the video and find out, or you can just click to the end of the video right now. There's really nothing stopping you. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure for, 2,500, and that is also a solid deal for, again, another game that's getting less and less common, and it's at least like kind of obscure. It's no Street Fighter or Rival Schools or something that sold like hotcakes. Which, speaking of, really need to wrap this up pretty quickly because I'm hungry. And I really could go for a hot cake. Making myself hungry with these damn videos. The Convini, manage your own convenience store virtually. This is driving me crazy. The fine camera work, stickers and sticky stuff. Don't put games back to back when they got sticky stuff all over them. 1,500 on one of my favorite fighting games of all time, Justice Gakuen, aka Rival Schools. And then this was the culprit. Copy of Smash Court 3 all jacked up. Thanks a lot, Hard Off. Doing your job for you, man. Tetris there. Whatever the hell. You know what? I am so enthused about this today. Tekken, all right. Can't get enough Tekken. Can you hear the enthusiasm? We got the Samurai Spirits RPG. That's kind of cool. Some more Smash Court, some Dragon Quest games. All the big names, all the heavy hitters. They went PS1 crazy in this place. 500, Puyo Puyo Sun, Biohazard. You want them, we got them. You know what? Maybe I'm in the twilight of this YouTube thing. You know what? I'm going to college. That's all there is to it. I am dropping all this, knocking it off, sitting here commentating over Crash Bandicoot games and whatever this is. Enough of this. I'm going to college. Parappa the Rapper. Damn, I already went to college. I guess that's out. Parappa the Rapper, fun games, weird commercials in Japan. I don't really know what that had to do with Parappa the Rapper, but, there you go. But then Parappa, he becomes kind of like him and Crash become like the Sony mascots in Japan, and well, the rest is history, isn't it? More Puyo Puyo, more this, more that, more Front Mission. I wonder what happened to the back mission. And Gun Gauge. This is actually a interesting find. 6,600 on this Gun Gauge. Obscure, uncommon game. Not something I find very often. Gun Gauge, if you've never played it, not a bad game, like action run and gun, reticle shooter. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty much just straight up action. So if that's what you like, if you want to shoot a giant spider in the ass, well, this is a game where you can do that. So, you know. Oh, and cool artwork too. Might as well mention that. Good looking stuff. Good looking in-game art and everything. But what else we got? We got Bomberman. We've got Rockman 2. Complete Works. These are always fun to come across. I did at one time have the entire set. All 6 of the 8-bit games got re-released on the PS1, and they had all kinds of little bonus features and stuff. It was really cool. There's the first game down there. But then I think it was all released because I remember buying for my GameCube just a Mega Man collection with some X-Men vs. Street Fighter here. The inferior PS1 version, which who cares now? You can get the Capcom versus Marvel versus whatever collection, and you're good to go. Yeah, and I totally spaced on what I was saying. So whatever I was saying, oh yeah, the Mega Man collection on the GameCube. Pretty sure they just took all of the Complete Works games and just compiled them onto a GameCube disc, which was just fine with me because I was happy to be playing some classic Mega Man again. We got the Fatal Fury collection with 1, 2, Special, and 3. Which, if you got Special, do you need 2? Some Samurai Spirits for you. Can't go wrong there. Plenty of fighting games here. That's nice. I appreciate that. I wish they would just divvy these up by genre like they do in some other places. Some King of Fighters 98. Ultimate Match. I believe all of these, they had some sort of online capabilities. I got a lot of friends that are big into the King of Fighters games. So if you're ever down at Tokyo Video Gamers, if there's some people in there, you can probably challenge somebody to a game. And Ghost in the Shell standalone complex for like $2,500. It's fine. I'm a bigger fan of the PS1 game. You got your Tachikoma and you shoot stuff in your Tachikoma, and that's all you really need. I wasn't the biggest fan of the PS2 game. Silent Hill 4: The Room, $6,600. Not the most popular Silent Hill game. I like it a lot. In fact, to this point, I've never played a Silent Hill game I didn't like. I mean, I liked Downpour. I liked Homecoming. I like all that good stuff. Samurai Western, which is not to be confused with Rising Zan. Samurai Gone, man. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is a game. And some Saint Seiya for 800 yen. These games are kind of cool. They're not great fighting games, but as far as like the spectacle of having like all the super moves and cool stuff from the show and like being all flashy and cool, it's got it. It's got it in there. And then Spike publishing State of Emergency Revenge, the second State of Emergency game, which I don't think I actually played. I played the first one. I rented the first one, and yeah, I didn't like it. I thought it sucked. Like, I started playing it. All I wanted to do was just run around and kill people rioting. I kind of lost interest in any of the missions or anything. And then this. This is the North American Hitman Trilogy box set. You got Silent Assassin, Contracts, and Blood Money. And that's just awesome. I don't have a North American PS2, so I'm not going to buy this. But I have Hitman World of Assassination on the PS5, and that's been keeping me occupied. Really like that game. My favorite game in the series, as a matter of fact. And then Blood. It is Blood. Based on the animated series. There is a Blood game on the PS2 based on the animated movie. This one based on the series, and it's an action hack and slasher. Pretty good. Actually, I think I did a review of that game like, I don't know, a long time ago, like 8 years ago. And then this, another big find for only 1,000 yen. Metal Slug 3 on the PS2. Usually about a 3,000 yen game at least. So finding it for 1,000 yen is a big deal for me because this is my favorite Metal Slug game. And the PS2 is a pretty cool way to play it because it has some bonuses and everything. It's a cool version of that game. So yeah, look how excited I am. 1,000 yen, Metal Slug 3. Yeah, I take that every time. Not you, though, robots. You stay on the shelf. Get out of here. And then Rockman X7, which sucks. Virtual On. Some other various things. You know, the usual. Boy, I'm really selling it to you. Anyway, that's a bunch of games. But hey, let's get back to the couch and see what I got. So there you go, everybody. That was Hard Off in Tachikawa. Hope you enjoyed that little look around in there. Like I said, they didn't have like the most games I've ever seen out of Hard Off, but they did have some pretty cool stuff in there. I think you would agree. And I did pick up some pretty cool games today. Picked up 13 in total, but I have the 4 here that I think were the best finds of the day. So we're gonna get started with, I picked up that copy of Parodius Da Deluxe Pack on the PS1. And this is not a great game, but a great couple of games. There's, I think, two different Parodius games in here. There's like the original Parodius and Parodius Da, or maybe Sexy Parodius? I'm not exactly sure right now. I'm gonna have to find out when I go to record the gameplay footage for this. But it's got a couple of Parodius games in it. Parodius games are always a lot of fun. They play more or less like Gradius, but they give you a bunch of different wacky characters to choose from. They're really colorful and silly, and they're great. They play great. They always have like great, nice visuals and everything. Really great music as well. Konami from this time period. You can't really complain. So I was happy to pick this up. I think somebody's going to be very pleased to see this show up in their mailbox sometime soon. So yeah, Parodius Da Deluxe Pack. I picked up the Best for Family version. It was 1,000 yen less. Also, as it turned out, the other one, when the PS1 games come in cases like this, these like big chunky cases, they have a manual, but they also have like an insert, like a little like piece of paper that has the cover on it. So this one has that. The other version actually didn't have that. It was 1,000 yen more, and it was missing its like little paper faceplate kind of thing. That's cool. So this game was 2,000 yen, which is like really inexpensive. Usually like anything Konami on the PS1, or at least if it's a shoot 'em up, because there are other deluxe packs like this one. They're usually pretty damn expensive these days. So for 2,000 yen, I was more than happy to pick that up. Also on the PS1, I ended up picking up that copy of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And if you've never played this, you're missing out. This is one of Capcom's quirkier, more interesting 2D fighters that they've ever released, based on the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure manga and anime series, obviously. I guess the 3rd series? I'm not very familiar with JoJo. I really only know it through the video games. This is the one with Jotaro Kujo in it. And it's pretty damn cool as a fighting game. It's odd because the characters in JoJo are odd. They're all so unique and they have such bizarre powers and abilities. But that translates pretty well to this game because it's got a decent roster of characters. I think it has like something like, I don't know, 15, 16 playable characters. And they're all fairly unique from one another. They're not like a bunch of clones in this game or something. So each character is worth picking up and trying out because they all have their own like unique strategies and like powers and things. They can call upon their stands for like super combos and things. So that's really cool. And even the PS1 version has like additional mini games and stuff during the single player story mode. So this game is super cool, and it even has some Pocket Station compatibility. That's awesome. Actually, a lot of these Capcom games from around this time, like 98, 99, circa that time, they have Pocket Station, capabilities. They can load up little mini games and stuff onto your Pocket Station. If you had a Pocket Station, that is. I always wanted one. Never had one as a kid because it didn't come out in the US. But yeah, this game is awesome. So yeah. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, PS1 by Capcom. This was 2,500 yen, which is a pretty good deal on it because this is another one on the PS1 and the Dreamcast version as well. They're going up in price. So when I saw this for like in the neighborhood of like $18 or something like that, I was definitely going to pick that up. So JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, great game. I ended up going back to that case because I did spot something in there that the price was right and the condition was right as well. So I picked up this copy of Darius Twin on the Super Famicom. Yeah, this is an awesome game. If you've ever played Darius, you know what it is. You got your little Darius ship there. You can pick up power-ups to give yourself like a stronger laser or missiles, give yourself an energy shield, and then you shoot down a bunch of spaceships They look like big fish and crustaceans, and that's it. It's a lot of fun. Just a great side-scrolling shooter series. And Darius Twin, if I'm not mistaken, was a Super Famicom / SNES exclusive. I think it still is to this day. I don't even know if it's been re-released as part of any collections. But this game, since it was like made specifically for SNES hardware, it runs pretty well, has good graphics, has a good soundtrack as well. Not the most challenging shoot 'em up in the world. In fact, I think compared to its arcade versions, obviously, and the later like Sega Saturn and PS1 games, there aren't as many like enemies on screen and stuff, which is obviously a result of like the limitation of the hardware. So you wouldn't play this before like one of the arcade versions, or maybe like Darius Gaiden on the Saturn or something. But if you got yourself a Super Famicom or an SNES, Darius Twin is a pretty damn good shooter. In fact, I would say definitely within the top, I mean, it's not saying that much, I guess, but like in the top 10, maybe like top 8 shoot 'em ups on the console. I think I actually put this, I did a best of SNES shooters, and I put Darius Twin in there because it is pretty damn good. Gameplay is solid, graphics are good, and the soundtrack is pretty solid too. You can always trust Taito to give you some good stuff. So yeah, Darius Twin complete. They actually let me take a look at it before I bought it, because when it, word to the wise, if you're gonna go to a hard off, you're gonna buy something out of one of those glass cases, ask them if it's okay in advance, if you can like look at it and examine it. Usually they'll let you do it up at the counter by the register. So I took a look at the box and everything inside, the cartridge, the manual, all that. It's all in really good shape. So I was happy enough with that. And the price on this was 4,500 yen, which for a complete, like, very good condition copy of any shoot 'em up on the Super Famicom, that's a good deal. Even has the original price sticker on it. This game originally sold for 8,500 yen. So if you think about it that way, I got it for half off. And also they gave it to me with a 10-day warranty, which is nice. They even printed out the warranty for me. So if I want to bring this back within the next 10 days, which I'm not going to, because I already know like there's a person that this is being sent to within the week, I guess. But that's cool. That's another thing to consider. A lot of stuff, the more expensive stuff at a hard off, they'll actually give you warranties for it, despite the fact that this stuff is used and it's, you know, pretty old. I mean, it's not quite as old as I am, but it's old enough. But Darius Twin, got that for a good deal today. And then what I think was like the best deal of the day, on the PS2, I picked up that copy of Metal Slug 3. And this is definitely my favorite Metal Slug game. The original is cool. Metal Slug 2 and X are really good too. And then 3, to me, like they perfected the formula. It's got so much crazy over-the-top stuff. It's got the zombies, and you can ride an elephant that shoots lasers, and you got a giant crab with tanks on it, and you got Martians, and just all kinds of crazy stuff. You end up flying into outer space, going into the Martian ship and confronting them in their ship. So it's an awesome game. Really great if it's one player or two players. This actually has like several different gameplay modes in it. I think there's like there's a single player, there's like arcade or something, there's a training school thing. I don't know. There's a handful of different gameplay modes in here. But yeah, for me, after Metal Slug 3, you get to 4 and 5, and there was a 6th one as well. I mean, they just kept going and going and going. And Metal Slug games are always cool no matter what, but I think like they just got it so perfect with Metal Slug 3. All the stuff after that is like cool too, but for me, it never really lives up to this game. So this is an amazing game, whether you're playing it on whatever. I mean, if you're playing it on actual like original Neo Geo hardware, then congratulations, you've got plenty of money in the bank. But if you're playing it on the PS2, if you're playing it on like a Metal Slug collection on another console, if you're playing a ROM, I mean, whatever the case may be, Metal Slug is always awesome. In this case though, this PS2 version is excellent. I didn't have this, I actually had the Xbox version back in the day, whenever that was, like 2007, 2008 or something. So I picked this up today. Amazing game. Again, my favorite Metal Slug game. And then just a game on the PS2 that is not uncommon, but typically when I see it, it's maybe like 3,000 yen or something like that. Picked it up for 1,200 yen today, which with the exchange rate is like awesome. I'll post it here, but that's like what, $8 or something for Metal Slug 3 on PS2. I take that every day, and actually I'm gonna take this out and play it a little bit to test it and maybe like record some footage or something. But then this is going into a package. It is being shipped out to one of the people that is subscribed on my Patreon, signed up for the Patreon packages, which I send out to pretty much wherever. It's kind of difficult to send to like some places, or it takes forever. In particular, if I'm ever shipping to the EU, if you live in the EU, you probably experience this all the time. You have to put like extra codes and stuff on your shipping slips, and they try to charge like additional things, and it takes forever. Anyway, I'm not here to bash on the EU. Those are my pickups, my finds of the day from today's hard off run in Tachikawa. So down in the comments, let me know what do you think of any of these games? What did you think of any of the games you saw in the video? If you were in my shoes, what would you have picked up today? I'd love to know. I'd love to hear from you. I always pop down there to the comments to read and reply to as many as I can get around to. So thanks very much in advance for commenting, liking, subscribing, all that cool stuff. And that's going to do it for today, because if I talk too long, I start to ramble, and nobody likes that. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I do hope to see you again on the next one. Take care. Goodbye.